He spent 3 years as a mental health counselor on his way to becoming a therapist. He was on track, and he was doing the responsible thing and building towards a master's degree. And then he fell in love with making content. It came from a feeling deep down inside of him that would just not leave, and that quiet knowing that he was meant for more in life than his 9-to-5 job. And that the personal brand that he was building on the side was supposed to be something bigger than just a hobby. Then his company started going under, and life made a decision for him to leave.
I wasn't ready, period. I was probably the most unready person you could ever meet. I had a lot of balances and credit card. I was the main source of income for me and my wife. My main source of income was gone. But I took a chance on myself. I'm like, okay, it's now or never. I do not want to be old and look back at my life like, what if?
Then he found UGC through other creator friends, and when he finally took it seriously, everything just started moving fast. His first month, he made over $5,000 with it. And his biggest deal was $1,500 for one singular video. He has worked with Seg, Xbox, Warner Bros, Oppo Suites, and Goo. And now he's building full-time income from this. And he will be the first to tell you that it is not all highlight reels right now. He is in the grind of it, determined, eyes on the long run, and he knows that the consistency he's putting in today is what the $10,000 months are built on. And that's his next goal. $10,000 months.
My first month, I made $5,538. But then, after that first month, I'm like, I can't stop.
So in this episode, Landy is gonna break down exactly how he did this, exactly how it feels like to leaving a counseling career and going all in on his content journey, which could be a scary leap, and why he believes every single person can do the same exact thing through the strategies he's gonna break down today. I'm Gloria Stonelake, this is Landy, and you're watching UGC World. Welcome, Landy.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
I'm so happy that you're here. First, I'll give a quick introduction of who you are, where you're from, how old you are, and just like a general background of you.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Landy. I go by OK Landy online. I've been doing content for about 4 years now. I am 25 years old. And something about me is that, like what Gloria said, I came from a mental health background. Now, I get this question a lot, but no, my content is very different than my career. My content was actually an escape. So now that I'm using my escape to do full time is a blessing and a curse, but we'll get into that later.
Absolutely. And wow, I think it's super, super cool that you used content, first of all, as an escape. That's not the cool part. The cool part is you're making it full time now. We're going to dive into how that happened today, starting from the very beginning. So from the very beginning, Landy, fill me in. How did you even get into content creation? I know that you had that feeling. We know that. But how did that develop into content creation, and where did that even come from?
So, okay, this is really funny. A lot of people don't know this. My reasoning is very different than everyone else's. So initially, like 4 years ago, I started as a cosplay creator, meaning that I would dress up and go to like Comic Cons. And my reasoning that I don't tell people is that I was a big introvert. So I told myself, if I get a big quote unquote following, I was younger, so my mindset is different. But I'm like, if I build a presence online and I go to in-person events in my area, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I forgot to say that earlier, but in my Atlanta area, if I build a presence, people will come up to me and be like, "Oh, you're that one dude online." And at first, in my head was thinking, yeah, it would work. And I thought it was crazy, but then it ended up did working, and I made a lot of friends because I was really good at what I was doing, and people would come up to me like, "Oh my God, you're OK Landy." I'm like, "Yo." And then because of that, I just started to fall in love. Thankfully, I'm older now, so I did get away from the status mindset and more so like, okay, if I have a platform, I can use it to like help others and really just connect with people, because I've always wanted to do social media since I was a kid, but I stopped using it because I remember like my 12-year-old self was thinking this, I'm never going to meet these people. What's the point? And I stopped using Twitter when I was like 12 years old. So.
Wow. So you have this background with content creation. It seems like as you're growing older, your 12-year-old self or society, whatever programmed you to think that way, was like kind of pushing it down, like, no, go the traditional path, do what you're told. It's not realistic to meet everybody, you connect with on the internet. And that took a turn, obviously. But let's jump into more so growing up and why you chose to, I guess, go to college for what you did, and then how essentially you transitioned out of that job that you got after college into content. So break that down for me and how it felt to go through that journey.
Oh, absolutely. So, and it was around, I'm 25 now. So it was around like high school when I was 18 years old. Do the math. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life. I think I want to become a therapist. So then I started studying psychology. I went to college to study psychology. And then I got recruited through my sister's connections, and I got a job as a mental health counselor really early on in my career. So that was really lucky. I was on path to be a therapist, but then in the middle of all that, I was doing content on the side, right? Not money, just for fun and as a hobby. And I was doing this and I was enjoying it. I was getting myself known in my local area. It was nice. And I remember my second year, something interesting happened. I told myself, okay, if this whole year I'm gonna take it, because after my undergraduate, I decided to go to my master's. But before I went to my master's, I told myself, okay, I'm gonna place a bet on myself. This entire year, I'm not gonna go to school. If I make content my full-time job, I think this was like 2022, I will drop out of school. Spoiler alert, that didn't work out. So the next year I went back to school and was like, dang it. And because I tried to make content work, but the problem was I didn't have a strategy. A lot of people think that creators who have like quote unquote influencers who have like 100K, a million, that they make a lot of money just by posting. And that's not the case. You actually have to have a business strategy set in stone. So fast forward 2 years after that moment happened, I'm just like, dang, I travel so much and I want to go explore places and go to events because my favorite part of content creation is flying out to places to meet people. So I'm just like, well, my job is very limiting and I can't do that. And I really want to, I would just love to do it full time. It was like a dream. It was like you daydream, you look outside the window, you sigh. And it wasn't until this year, August 2026, where I started taking, well, this year, 2026, where I started taking content seriously. I'm like, okay, I'm going to have a strategy in place. This time is going to be different. I'm going to reach out to brands. I'm a YouTube, YouTube is a free source. I'm going to do all that jazz. And then April 2026 happened. And I was told that our company was going under.
Wow.
And what was funny about this was that, and I know a lot of people watching are probably thinking this right now, but I'm not ready to join a program or I'm not ready to do this. And I wasn't ready, period. I was probably the most unready person you could ever meet. I had a lot of, I had a lot of balances and credit card and my credit cards. I was the main source of income for me and my wife. And oh my gosh, my main source of income was gone. And I had a choice, right? I either stay with the company because they did give me a choice to stay. I'm not gonna lie. They gave me a choice to stay, but given the circumstances, I wasn't comfortable with what they were asking. And it's funny because a coworker called me literally last week and she said, oh yeah, the company went down under and everyone went back to the old company. So you're telling me I was doomed from the start. Like this
Wow.
content creation journey, I'm like, I was not ready, but it was a sign because everything was being set in place. Because at the time, while all that was happening, while my entire life was crumbling, I stumbled upon Alex from Scootover Studios and he had a creator event. And I bring that up because I was looking online, like, okay, I want to build my portfolio. And I stumbled upon UGC World, like, oh, UGC World's having an event in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm just like, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. Like,
Yeah.
it's in my area. And then I checked out UGC World. And I remember like thinking I was like sketchy. I'm just like, oh, it's another program. I'm just like, I don't know if I want to do this. I have no money right now. And then like I remember seeing Gloria put every the thing with Gloria's onboarding packet was that every concern I was having, Gloria would counteract it. So there was one moment where Gloria was like, "Oh, it's a fallacy. Like we have a common fallacy where a lot of people aren't ready. Like, oh, I will invest in myself when I have money. I will do this when I have money. I'll do this when I have more time. But the problem is that when never comes. So it was at that moment where I'm just like, dang it, she got me. And I remember signing up and Glory was like, oh yeah, someone will get back to you in like in under 48 hours as soon as possible. I was like, yeah, right. It was like 10 p.m. where I was. And then I get like a call 5 minutes later. I was like, oh snap, that was really quick. And everything happened so fast. And I wanted to take a chance on myself and I joined the program. And here we are right now.
Wow, that's amazing. And I want to dig more into that because there's a lot to unpack there.
A lot.
But yeah, you're going through a lot at the beginning. First of all, I appreciate the kind words. Thank you so much. And second of all, I want to dig into more so like the first time, like you already created content. You had a background with content creation. You were an influencer, but you were not making any money from influencing. So you're one of those, in the nicest way possible, broke influencers because you weren't making money from what you were doing. So what was that switch like that you went through where you're like, wait, I can actually make money doing exactly what I'm doing, but which is working with my favorite companies at the same time?
I think a switch, that's a great question. I think a switch was that, so I feel like I don't believe in destiny, but I feel like life will prepare you. So like a couple months before, I was surrounded by friends who are content creators, who are influencers. They do this full time, like big time, small time, medium time, like all walks of life. And they would tell me like their story, like how they got how they're getting paid. And I remember a couple of months prior, I was having a drink with my pals, and then everyone was sharing their stories. And one of my friends, along with many, they said they want to be content creators, like do this full time. And then like I was thinking to myself, almost like, what makes me different? Like, my dream is no different than everyone else's. Like, what makes me different? And I had a friend who does content creation full time, and he was telling me his experience on how he makes it work and how he does sponsorships. And then, sometimes he did like, I forgot the term. It's a psychology term, a Freudian slip, where someone accidentally like says the truth. He was like, oh yeah, like, sometimes brands, they'll pay you a lot of money. Like a brand could pay you like 2,000 just for one video. I'm just like, something tells me he got paid $2,000 just for one video. So I'm just like, dang, like that money was unheard of for me. I'm just like, you can get paid a lot of money just for one singular video. And then fast forward on top of UGC World, before UC Road, actually, that same friend, he reached out to me and was like, hey, I recommend you check in with this manager, and she does UGC. And I was still learning UGC at the time. And on top of joining the program, I was also able to have a manager help me with like attract more brand deals and just better my negotiation. Because on top of the program and all, I've done a lot of programs, free and paid. I flew out like a month prior to joining UGC Road. I flew out to Texas, and that was a really fun creator event. But I learned really quickly. It's like, sometimes when you get really motivated after someone tells you like a motivational speech and like you're still on that high, like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Then like a day passes and you're like, I did everything I could. I've exhausted all my resources and I'm stuck at square one. That was me. No disrespect to any other program. I love I love any program I joined, but different programs require you to do different things, especially as an individual. You have to find a program that best fits your needs.
Absolutely. And when it comes to turning your views that you're generating on Instagram and your content creation skills into actual money. You said, oh, I realized from a friend that I could make $2,000 from a singular video, a singular brand, right? And that's when the realization hit. So with that being said, your background with content creation, not making money, but now you make money with content creation. What systems, frameworks, or even new skill sets did you learn to actually do this?
Yes. So two things from UGC Road specifically that helped me out a lot was bento. I had no idea what bento was, and I remember being a little bit upset. I'm just like, I joined a program, then I had to spend more money on another like tool. But in retrospect, it was completely worth it because what I learned was that at the end of the day, you can have the perfect email. It does not matter. It's all about volume. Like I've sent like I think I checked my bento campaigns. I sent like 600 emails, and only like I want to say like less than 5% actually responded. Now, of course, it depends on the niches you're researching and your template, so things are different. But from the from the pitches that I have got, the brands that have responded, I have been able to secure a brand deal, so that has helped out a lot. Number two was, and this goes hand in hand with what Glory was saying, volume over anything. Like you have to increase your volume with pitching, whether that's using an automated system like Bento, using Twitter, aka X, whatever you want to call it, Reddit, Instagram. One trick that I was able to conjure up that's actually been helping me get gifted brand deals. I'm still working on that, but it has helped me build my portfolio. Was on Instagram. If I see a company running a paid ad, I will DM them and be like, yo, I noticed you guys are running paid ads. Are you looking for UGC creators by any chance? I kid you not. I've gotten so much success from that. It's gifted. Don't get me wrong. It's gifted, but just getting free stuff and using that to build my portfolio has been really helpful.
Absolutely. And it's very cool that you're at that point where you're implementing the strategies and you're making money from the strategies. You're at a point where you're actually growing from the strategies. What were your first few doubts or even struggles or setbacks you've had implementing some strategies, and how did you get over them with us?
Oh, I remember my first initial struggle was templates. A lot of templates, it's like a lot of people kind of think of me, like, oh, hey, I'm an influencer. I have this amount of followers. But then in reality, and I don't mean to sound like rude, it's just the truth of it. Brands don't care about you in the sense that like when they have so many emails to read, brands want to know how can you help them. And the faster you realize that, the faster and better a business partner you can be. Because a lot of creators, they reach out to brands as a creator mindset, like, oh, hey, here's how you can help me, or like, I want free stuff, like, give me money. But it changes when you look at it from a business perspective. Like, hey, here's what I recommend through my experiences to help build your advertisements, to help build your sales. Let's do this. I'm not going to do one video. Like I can do many videos, get a retainer going. If this doesn't work, then we can talk about how we can improve upon it and go from there.
I like that. So you said treating it more like a business partnership than anything else. It's not just posting fun videos on the internet anymore. It's providing a service to brands. And that's the mindset switch that you had through this, which is very, very impactful. And it's got you here, frankly. And for the people that are not familiar with UGC, maybe the influencers out there that are creating content, but they're like, what's UGC? How do you get paid from brands to do this? Like, how would you describe UGC? And then how would you say your first attempts were with UGC, considering your background with content creation?
Yeah, so UGC, for those that don't know, is basically you pay companies companies pay you to make content. And most of the time, it's not going to even be on your own account. Some of the times it is on your account, but most of the time it won't be. And it's beautiful because you just create content. Sometimes, depending on the brand, you just send the raw edits and they'll do the edits for you. And you can get paid a lot of money for that. Like I said, the one thing about it is that it does differentiate depending on the brand. Like I said earlier, one brand paid me $1,500 just for one singular video. And mind you, that was my first brand deal. So like I got a taste of how good it could be. And I've had other brand deals where it's not as much, where it was like 2 videos for $250. It just depends on your niche, right? Like if you're an expert at your niche, then I would charge more. But if you're just starting out, then I would use what you already got, which is what Gloria taught me, to make a portfolio. Because I remember I hopped on a call with Gloria. I've been wanting to get into travel content, and I've had zero travel videos. So what I did was, you gotta finesse the system a little bit. On my portfolio, I posted travel content and I did not post it on my social media. And because of that, I'm already working with like 5 travel brands just because I did that small switch and addition to my portfolio.
I like that. It's the little things, it seems like, that actually help you improve. And then also pitching to brands, mass volume, and then same time making sure that you offer more value to these companies so they pay you more money. Yes, not every brand is going to pay the same rate, but it's up to you. Like the cool thing about this is you control your income. You control the amount of brands that actually come your direction. You control these things. So, hey, if this brand is not paying you as much as you want, throw them in the trash and get a new one, right? Through the systems that you
Yep.
implement. So that's super powerful mindset that you walked us through. With that being said, what was your first attempt like actually filming a real UGC video separate from like an influencer video?
That is a great question. Great question. So prior, like I would get brand deals, but it was more like influencer. It was, like what you said, it was like, oh, hey guys, here's what I'm promoting, yada, yada, yada. But UGC is like really different because your followers don't matter and it's a lot more simplistic. Like you don't need to have fancy editing. You kind of just have to have your phone. Now, of course, a lot of people might think, what, just my phone? Like, come on, don't give me that answer. But no, seriously, like you just need great lighting, good microphone, and that can take you very, very far. Hell, in the era of AI, that's all companies want nowadays. They want someone realistic, someone that's actually real with natural lighting, organic, like post that's organic. Not it's not traditional ads anymore. No one's looking up commercials on TV. No one's watching TV anymore. Everyone's on social media. That's where the real ads are. Ads posted through social media have more of a chance of converting than ads on like Times Square, like on billboards. So my first experience it was different because I'm used to editing, but I realized, why am I making this harder for myself? Like the company just wants my phone, my face, my voice, and good lighting. And you can go so far once you realize it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to show up.
Yeah, that's a perfect point. A lot of influencers come in. It seems like you kind of were in that same trap where you came in and you're like, okay, let's make this picture perfect, and let's make this look amazing, like influencers do on with content on their feed. But what you did is you're like, okay, I realize this doesn't work, and then you just switched around. You're like, okay, all I need to do is be authentic and show TF up, right? And then boom, that's where the money is. And I like that. And you said your first collab was $1,500 switching from an influencer to a UGC creator. Is that right?
Yes, my first, like in the mindset of a UGC, like a business partner, my first deal was 1,500. It's funny, it was for like politics, but I don't really talk about politics. So I made it, the company was very smooth. I had full creative control. So like I can easily incorporate it into my content. I'm just like, so for a first, like it was great for a first, but like I said, you have to be careful because you don't want your head to inflate, meaning that, oh, all brand leaders are going to be like this. No, 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 no. That's not the reality. So, but it was nice that stuff like that can happen. And when you are experienced, you're going to have more consistently of that 1,500 brand deal.
I like that. I like that a ton. What other advice besides that would you give creators looking to land consistent, high-paying retainers, especially when it comes to the quality of their content and what they do on the inside of their business to actually land the deals?
Oh, great question. Okay, so 2 things I would recommend would be having a portfolio. A lot of the times recently, because I've been posting my journey on social media, is that people ask me, oh, hey, how do I get brand deals? And I ask them, first thing, what's your email? I don't have an email. I'm just like, are you joking? Like you need a business email so brands can reach out to you, and you need to put your business email in your bio. That helps out more than people believe. So I would recommend having a business email. Doesn't have to be your own domain, just any Gmail is fine. And on the inside, one thing I recommend is having a strategy in place in the sense that, okay, what are you actually doing to get brand deals? Are you waiting for brands to come up to you or are you pitching? If you're pitching, how are you pitching? Are you emailing people every day? Are you going on Instagram? Are you looking up UGC websites? Now, thankfully, the reason why I was able to get $5,338 my first month was because of all the support I had. On top of UGC building my business mindset, I also had my UGC manager on the side pitching brands for me. So like if you are willing to invest in yourself, one other thing I would recommend is hiring someone to pitch for you. It will save you a lot of time. That way, you're not spending so much time on pitching and you can focus on creating your content or building a portfolio. Of course, you can always pay someone to do something for you, but assuming you have a lot of time, do what you can do. And if you start to run out of time, then pay someone to do it.
I like that. Delegate properly. So you can
Delegate.
save yourself time, and then you have someone working for you, you get paid out, or that you pay them out, but also you're making multiple times more than what you did before from leveraging an employee, like a virtual assistant, like we talked about. That's awesome. And with that being said, like for even the brand owners right now, you've landed collabs before, you've hit milestones, you went from very, very beginning of like working on a job or going to college that didn't suit you. You use content creation as a creative outlet. You went into influencing, and then you decided, hey, this is not going to make me any money. So you left that, or essentially you're still doing that, but also you're making it profitable through UGC, which is super inspiring. So for the brands watching this right now, how would you describe your service, and how would you describe your specialty and your niche you're in, and why brands should choose you?
So brands that are watching, I think what makes me different is that I don't approach content like a traditional person. I see it through like a business aspect. Like, I think about, okay, how can this brand benefit from my content? Like, what do they want me to hit? Do they want me to hit this spot? How many videos I can create? One people think that it's just one video and done. No, 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 no. I like as many videos as you need. Right. If there's 3 pain points, I make those into 3 separate videos. And with a background in psychology, I use emotion to kind of trigger that because nowadays a lot of people have a short attention span. If you do not understand the psychology and the packaging of a TikTok/reel, you will not succeed. You need a great hook, 3 seconds. That's all you get. You need a body. Okay. Why should I keep watching? And you need a call to action. Wow, what next? If you do not understand those principles, you are in for a bad time.
I like that. So getting strategic about the way that you actually engineer your content so it actually performs for companies. I love that. And what were your favorite collabs so far that you've had so far? If you can disclose the name.
Yes, I can. Okay, so I not only am I a UGC creator, but I'm also building a personal brand. So sometimes it's not about the money. It's about the opportunities and putting myself in that space. So one of my favorite companies that I got to work with is a multi-billionaire gaming company called Sega. And that was very, very awesome. I got to collaborate with them, and it's really with big name brands, it's really difficult to collaborate when you're just starting out. So the fact that after 4 years of doing this, I finally got on the radar means a lot because I was able to take a tour at their headquarters in California. I'm in Atlanta, so that was like across the country. So it was just such a privilege to do that and to be able to be in good terms with them. It's nice. It's nice. That's my favorite deal where I don't, if it's, I would love to collaborate more with them. My favorite brand deal that was really nice. And my entire wardrobe is this company is Uniqlo. So Uniqlo and GU, it's a Japanese clothing brand. And the fact that they sent me one of their clothes was game changer because I already had, my entire closet is Uniqlo slash GU. So the fact that they gave it to me in exchange for content and with compensation, I'm just like, okay, that's crazy. Like I don't have to buy another pair of clothes ever again if assuming we keep working with said brands. And it's just cool how you can get a lot of um stuff paid for you or depending on who you are, gifted that's related to what you do.
Absolutely. That's amazing. How did it feel to land that? Like literally the clothing company that you use on a day by day basis is giving you free clothes so you don't gotta buy them anymore and also paying you on top of that to create content.
Oh man, it was great. I was because these stores are my favorite and they don't have these stores in Georgia. So I only buy these clothes when I'm traveling. And well, assuming the state that I'm in has a store. So I only go shopping. I exclusively only shop from Uniqlo and GU. So my entire wardrobe is Uniqlo and GU. And I only shop clothes for myself like 2 or 3 times a year. I know that sounds really bad, but I buy a lot because I'm like, okay, I don't know when's the next time I'm gonna find a store like this or travel to a state that has a store. So like I use all my I buy all my clothes at once, and it's just the fact that I got it sold shipped to me. I'm just like, yes, my wardrobe finally a new piece of wardrobe in my clothing line.
That's amazing. And it's very cool as an influencer. You're using the content or you have it, or excuse me, you use the clothes, right? And then also same time you get it shipped to you for free if the collab, continues and you already have. So that's awesome. With that being said, how else has UGC completely changed your life from when you're back influencing or even working your job to now like on a personal level?
I guess I guess the honest answer is that it's shifted me into a better business person. And whenever I go to events like public or in the store, my brain is thinking, what if I collaborate with this brand? Like, what if I make content for this brand? Like everywhere. Like every time I go to like social events, I look for who's in charge and I ask for a bit for their business cards. I'm like, hey, I would love to make content for you. Because like I said, not only is it my full-time job, but I also want to build my personal brand. I also want to work with big name companies. So I am always thinking business. I'm always thinking business. And because of that, I learned really quickly that starting a business, it's difficult and you need support. You cannot do it alone. Like right now, as this recording, I'm looking for a virtual assistant and I'm looking for an editor. And the struggle of, putting up a job post and finding the correct one to fit your business, it's difficult to be honest. However, I know long-term thinking, it's gonna pay off so well because now I'm at the point in my UGC career where I'm getting a lot of brand deals that I just can't keep up with everything, with inbounds, with editing. Like I'm just driving myself insane. And mental health is almost important coming from a psychology major. So if I can make it not easier for myself, but if I can eliminate any unnecessary stress, I'm going for it.
Absolutely. And I love that mindset of using your resources to multiply the amount of brand deals that you get. That's very smart. And then for you, Landy, what was the most amount of money you've made from UGC so far? Because you've been a UGC creator for 1 month. What does that month look like when it comes to brand deals?
Like how much money or the process?
How much brand deals collective around like have you earned so far?
Oh yeah, okay. So how many brands have I worked with specifically? Okay. So with the past month, I want to say oh yes, I've worked with 12 brands. 9 of them were paid and 3 of them weren't. Now, like I said, the gifted collab deals, that depends on everybody. That differentiates from everyone. I only do gifted collab deals if it's related to what I really need. Like for example, well, I'm not going to say it in case the brand's watching, but there's a specific area in my life that I love to do, and I love getting gifted stuff from this particular technology product. So I only do a gift because I know it benefits everyone in my house. But in terms of paid, yeah, I did 9 paid ones, and some of them I was able to negotiate. Like I did get gifted, but like I said, sometimes like today, this morning, and I got an email about someone wanting to do a gifted collab. It was 2 gifted collabs. It was kind of crazy, and I had to turn those down just because with how much volume of content I had to do for the paid brand deals, I just don't have time to work on gifted collabs. And at the end of the day, those gifted collabs, they don't pay your rent.
Absolutely not. And then a collective with all of the paid collabs you've generated, how much money have you made so far with UGC with them combined?
I want to say like collectively, like just first month, but well, excluding this first month, after the first month and so far, I want to say no, 6,600. Like, yeah, 6,600 because I got another brand deal that was $1,000 in the process.
Wow, that's amazing. Wait, I didn't know. Landy, I didn't know it was closer to 7,000. I remember you sending me a text message for the first month. It was about 5,000, but it's amazing. You've made around $7,000 in your first, like, what, 4 or 5 weeks as a UGC creator?
So far. My first month, I made 5,538. But then, after that first month, I'm like, I can't stop. Like, I don't have time to relax. So, just now I've closed a couple of deals just in the past week. And collectively, like, as my journey from where I started, I've collected that much, money.
And how has your mindset changed about money, especially coming from a 9 to 5 job not too long ago?
Okay, there's a great answer. The real answer is that short term, it's scary because, mind you, I'm different in the sense that I was not ready at all. I had zero finances backed up. I lost my main source of income, and immediately going into UGC, it's not going to be fast and easy. Some of these brand deals I haven't, it's like they run on a net 30 plan or a net 60 plan. So that's how much money I've made, but I haven't I think I've only collected like about like 1/5 of that. I know it's coming in eventually. And with that, I learned that, okay, as a content creator, I have to be consistent. How much I get paid is dependent on me. If I have 1 month where I do $5,338, great. The next month might be less or it might be higher. Honestly, that depends on me. Why? Because I have to maximize what I can do. Now, I can't control if a brand wants to work with me or not, but what I can control is how good the pitch looks and how much emails I sent, because the more emails you send, the more chances you have of succeeding and working with that brand.
I like that. I like that because your first month, it just compounds and compounds. You never know, like every 30 days, every 60 days, you never know, but it compounds into the next month. So it's coming, but it gives you more time and room to focus on the new deals coming in to actually increase the amount of cash collected per month, right? You still made 5K in your first month, continuing moving forward in the next month, even growing more. But same time, it leaves that fire underneath you, it seems like, to go all in and then also increase the amount of money that you make through that. And a lot of creators at the beginning, they don't have this strategy, or they don't have this happening in their business where they have so much influx in their first month with UGC. So what advice would you give maybe the creators listening that don't have, maybe the strategies or don't have the insights that you do to land deals like this on their first month?
So those who don't have the insights, fortunately, YouTube is free. YouTube is free in the sense that you can educate yourself and get those strategies. However, I will admit, I would use that as a beginning source, because although YouTube is free and you do study on your own, nothing beats having a coach. Nothing beats having that support. And Luckily with me, UC Road, with the coaching program, it helped me learn a lot about stuff that I was struggling with. Gloria was on a call one-on-one, and thankfully the way I work is that I need that tough love. And she gave it to me straight, like, look, you're struggling in this because X, Y, and Z. And that helped me out a lot, like, no sugarcoating. And that's what I needed. And because of that, I was able to lock in. And now whenever I'm struggling short term, I'm thinking about this long term. Like, okay, I know long term this is gonna pay off because I want to build a personal brand and I want to build a UGC business. With the UGC side, Gloria has helped me out on that one. With the personal brand, one thing about a personal brand is you only need one thing to have a personal brand, a story. And oh my word, I have one heck of a story that I want to use to inspire others because I was the most unreadiest person you could ever meet, but I took a chance on myself. I'm like, okay, it's now or never. I do not want to be old and look back at my life like, hey, remember when I was 25? What if? I do not want to have a what if moment. I just want to look back and say, if it doesn't work out, at least I tried. But I am trying so hard to make sure that it does work and it has to work.
Absolutely. I love that mentality. And would you recommend this path to other creators to invest in themselves to make this kind of growth in their own business?
Absolutely. My old boss, the best investment you can make is on yourself because at the end of the day, you have yourself and any investment spent on yourself is not a bad investment. If you spend money on crypto, there's risk, whatever you want to spend your money on, but on yourself, you're with that. The more skills and knowledge you implement into your head, into your strategy wheel, the more money you can make in your business. Knowledge truly is power.
Absolutely. I love that. And then for those that are listening that don't have a background with influencing, do you think that influencing, like a background with creating content and influencing, is needed to actually be a profitable UGC creator?
It does help because I have seen a couple creators who want to start and they don't understand like the psychology behind it or what makes people click. So you don't need a lot of experience, but you do need like a slight background of how content works, what makes someone stop scrolling. And like I said, thankfully, YouTube is free with all that stuff. There's a lot of great content. There's a lot of great creators who talk about specifically growing on Instagram, TikTok, whatever you want to grow on. And I would use that as a basis on YouTube. It's free. Please go check it out. It's the best thing you can do for yourself because if you have no education and you just start whipping out a phone, then you're going to do it eventually, but it's going to be harder than if you just educated yourself.
Sure. And then what's one last mindset tip that you'd give the person that maybe just got laid off, or maybe is looking to make money online and don't know where to start, or maybe it's the influencer that's not making any money? What mindset piece of advice would you leave them off with?
Just put the price in the bag. No, my actual advice would be to check out UGC because even if you don't have a strong following, or even if you don't have a following at all, who cares? Companies just want your content. So if you just make quality content that's on your phone authentic, make sure that you cut off the empty space and just add basic captions and make a simple portfolio, that goes a long way. And that's what I would recommend.
Absolutely. I love that. So, Landy, where can people connect with you on social media?
Yeah. So jokes aside, where people can connect with me on social media is OK Landy on Instagram, YouTube. You can find me at Landy OK on TikTok. And that's about it. That's about it. Yeah. TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Landy, for coming on to UGC World and sharing more about your story and your upbringing with content and UGC and everything like that. And yeah, until next time.
Of course. Thank you for having me, Gloria.
Thank you.